can convince your doctor or healthcare professional who can then send you to a lab to have your blood work done to look for nutrients, to give you a nutrient profile. Is what I would like for you to do if you don't have a baseline of it today. That's the good news. So if your doctor can do it, your insurance will cover it, mostly. That is not available to you. There are alternatives. There are functional medicine practitioners and websites that are available and memberships. And I am not paid or representing any of them. I am, however, a customer of Functional Med. I think it's functionalmed.com. And we were talking about Dr. Mark Hyman earlier. It is his thing, and it gives you access. You pay a monthly fee or an annual fee, and it's a few $100s. It's not great, but it is a few $100s. But you get 1 or 2 or even more than 2 times a year where you can actually go in and have your full panel of nutrients and bionutrients and micronutrients tested and given to you in a report. That is a powerful bit of information, and I will hope that as things progress, that becomes a more affordable thing. For me, it was important because I am a complete and utter nerd. I want to know these things. So if I have to throw money at that problem and make it go away, I will do it. If it is within your financial reach, it might be something that you want to be able to do. But that's going to give you a profile, although I will say it's a shifting profile, because it's what happened during that blood draw. If you go out and eat a big meal, hours later or a week later, your nutrient profile will probably change. But what that will provide you is a good place to hit if there are really deficiencies to identify. If you're experiencing an issue with pain, cramping, types of things, those can indicate nutrition deficiencies, and that's when your doctor or medical professional can come in and give you a prescription or send you to a lab to have something identified. Unfortunately, your standard blood tests, and I did a bit of research on this, is that you can do cheek swabs or finger pricks and things like that for a lot of blood tests and things like that to send them off, but none of them give you cholesterol and certain things, but they're not doing fasting blood sugars, they're not doing fasting cholesterol or fat or lipid tests and things like that. It's just based on capillary blood, which can give you some information, and they're cheap, but they're not going to give you deep, that sort of thing. One thing that may be challenging for a lot of people if you live in an apartment or in a city, but it doesn't have to be challenging so much, is to control your own food supply. And you have a massive amount of control over it. That doesn't mean that you have to be a farmer. I happen to be a bit of a farmer, a bit of a gardener, and I prefer to grow my own food. I have definitely $450 tomato, as well as a $2,000 egg. My first egg ever from my chickens, I equated it out. It's like go and you get a new drug on the market and it's $5 million a dose, and then 20 years later it's like free copay. That all of that R&D and all of the build of the chicken coop and the getting of the chickens and the feeding of the chickens and the doing all the things, by the time a one-day-old chick grows into a point where she will lay an egg is about 6 to 8 months, and by the time that is about $2,000. Now my eggs are much cheaper. But the good news is you can delegate that food production to other people if they're local, known, and trusted. We have a wealth of farmers markets here in Central Ohio. There's one here at Franklin Park Conservatory all summer long, every single Wednesday. And they have a lot of growers coming in, and there are also a lot of abilities for people who have less financial means than probably any of us can get food because it takes SNAP benefits. A lot of farmers markets will take SNAP benefits, and they will also offer you higher amounts of product for your money. I know that the Westgate one that I am part of, the German Village, Springfield, Franklin Park Conservatory, all the ones that I know of will usually double your dollars. So if you come in with your EBT card, or you come in with a coupon, or things like that, they will give you that ×2 in the ability to purchase. So take advantage of the people that do grow food, and stop giving it to Kroger or whatever grocery store that you're giving it to that is a large, nameless, faceless corporation, into a person who's growing food. Same thing with meat, because there are 4 meat growers that I know of that participate in farmers markets throughout the city that pasture raise their animals. They treat them very well. They're humanely processed for food, and they are healthier for you. And again, you don't have to get something that's shrink wrapped in plastic from Bolivia or Brazil or wherever. You could get it from, not Gehenna, because Gehenna's far too bougie now, but like London or wherever into the area. I've been researching a cow share for dairy for us. And there's a lot out the west part of the state, a lot of farms that participate in cow shares, because you can't buy raw milk or raw cheese or anything else like that in this country unless you own a part of the animal that produces it. So, emphasize whole nutrient. The categories we talked about, stick in the first 2. Those are raw ingredients or by you ingredients. So if you can stay in there, you can dip into, if you need a Twinkie. I like a Twinkie every once in a while. Even granola bars, processed foods, not healthy for you. So emphasize those. Then I say deprioritize. Don't eliminate them, because 1, you're going to be hard pressed to. 2, do you really want to get rid of every single bit of joy out of your life? If you want a cookie from Pepperidge Farms, have a cookie from Pepperidge Farms. And that's why I say deprioritize fully and ultra-processed food without completely taking the joy out of your life. I think you have to strike a balance. And people tend to, like I said, I spend a lot of time researching and talking to people, and there's a lot of influencers and people that are out there. There's a lot of noise when it comes to the food sphere. And they will say, you can't be this, you can't have that. And I'm like, I can do what I want, I'm a grown up. And I'm going to darn it. I can do what I want. Just, I would prefer that you not make a meal out of it. This is the thing that where I get into it, is use herbs and spices in cooking to enhance flavor. It's what they do. They add spice to life. And, as well, they boost nutrition. So we're going to talk about a lot of those. There is a, we looked in the book, there's a whole section on botanical nutrition, and then there's also stuff on the end of your presentations. I don't know if you're going to be able to read it because those are kind of small. But there is a whole list of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that are listed in a chart and the best ways to get them via botanicals. All right. Create a bodily environment where nutrients are absorbed and more fully and effectively. So there's a lot of discussion about the biome, your gut flora, fauna. If you are filling it with ultra-processed foods, your body is not absorbing when your body does recognize something that's really nutritious. It can't do anything about it because a lot of times the ultra-processed ingredients are preventing your body from absorbing through the digestive process. So it's that you eat in a way that honors your body and that helps your body to absorb things in the future. Like I said, every once in a while the Twinkie's great. If you're eating ding dongs every day and you're drinking gallons of milk, or eating everything from McDonald's or whatever that isn't really meat, somewhat meat, I don't know. Your body then, when you do have a salad, or you do have nutrients, no matter if they're powdered and packaged or if they're coming from a plant, your body doesn't know what to do with them, and it also probably can't do anything with it. Because if you're in that disease state, it's going to take some time to get out of it. And then utilize natural supplements, make your own, or procure from a trusted source. I am one, but I'm not. You have to buy stuff from me, because that's not. I'm a terrible business person when it comes to that. I'm like, if you can stuff yourself, don't buy it from me, make it yourself. So, those are the things that you can do, and we're going to be making some supplements today. We're going to be, you can choose. You either choose if you like capsules or if you like tinctures. We're going to be making some of each. So you can choose to make capsules, or you can choose to make a tincture. And it's a multivitamin, multi-mineral. So let's go through a few nutrient-dense herbs and spices. So my priority will always be for you to eat them raw or eat them in your cooking, because it's easy. Throwing rosemary on with your steak or your roast or anything is easy. Not only then do you get the flavor of rosemary, which is yummy, You get benefits botanically or nutritionally. Then also, there are certain herbs and spices that interact with your food that help your body process them differently. Rosemary is my favorite herb. I will stand on that line. Rosemary is my favorite herb. There's so many out there, but rosemary is one of them that there's just nothing that it doesn't do well. So it's high in vitamins. It's high in volatile oils. The volatile oils in it are a vasodilator. So I've talked about pain relief. We discussed that. It's one of the main ingredients in a lot of my pain relieving things or headache. A nutritional benefit and a digestive benefit in the fact that it helps to your body not to absorb so much saturated fat, which is why it's paired with meats all the time. Roasts, like crown roasts at the holidays or pork roasts or things like that. The rosmaric acid in helps the saturated fats kind of pass through. Your body doesn't do much. So we'll go through them here in a minute. Parsley. Simple, humble. I do not like curly parsley. Again, that's where I'm going to take a stand.
Why?
I don't like it. I don't like the texture of it. It's weird.
Personal preference.
Weird. It just tastes weird. It's like kale got real, and I like kale, and it got real spicy, and it's just hard to chew. It's a texture thing for me. But I love Italian parsley, flat-leaved parsley, and I eat a lot of it. So it's not just a sprig to put on your plate for decoration. And let's say it was never for decoration in the first place. It is also, it helps your body to digest better. It produces enzymes in your digestive tract to help your digestion for the meal you just had. It also is a breath freshener. That's what it's why they put on plates in restaurants, or they did at one time. They don't do that anymore. It's not, they don't do things like that anymore, but it literally was at the end of the meal. Instead of getting a mint or popping an Altoid or doing whatever, you would take a piece of parsley and you'd chew it. It would help your digestion, but also freshen your breath. So it's really high in vitamin K. It's one of the few herbs that are chewable. Cilantro, which I don't like. I know, and that is a taste thing because it tastes like, I think Joy dishwashing liquid would taste like that if I ate it. It's something that's up to me. I can take it in small amounts, but I don't love it. And I won't grow it because I don't like the smell of it. It's also really high in vitamin C, vitamin A, maybe carotene, and folate. It's really great for you. It's also really high in minerals, iron, calcium, magnesium, and potassium. All the big ones. So use it fresh, blended with basil, because you don't want to just eat a parsley pesto. Oh, basil, don't. Pesto's the best. Have you ever made your own?
No. Why would I make it if I don't like it?
Try it. Because what you buy in a store, like pesto in a jar, gross. But fresh pesto made by you in your, are you licorice?
No, I like it.
Then you would love basil. Because basil has an anisey flavor. It also has an anisey smell. Freshly blended, thrown in pasta with a little bit of olive oil, some pine nuts, and Parmesan cheese. So good. And as a garnish. I'm going to check my time because we're in good shape. At about an hour or close to an hour, I'm going to stop and we're going to take a little break. And I'm going to reset my cameras and just make sure I have battery. So just FYI. Basil, good. And I'm growing a lot of it. And different basils. So if you don't really like the Genovese, even though that's probably the best tasting one, you can do like a Thai basil, which has got a little bit of spice to it. You can do herbal basil, which is super yummy too. It's high in vitamin K. So those green leafies, those are really where you're going to get your vitamin K. And vitamin A's. Again, manganese, magnesium, iron. And if you don't want to eat pesto, maybe make some olive oil with it. So if you dry the basil, put it in a sachet or just leave it on the stem and infuse your olive oil with it, you're going to get the benefit of it in smaller amounts without having to bend it by pesto, even though it's delicious. Dill, also really great for nature. So I grow massive amounts of dill. Half of it I don't eat, half of it I don't harvest. Half of it I leave to go to flower because the pollinators love it. Caterpillars love it. But huge C, A, and folate, which is why they pair it with fish. High in calcium, manganese, high in iron. Pickles, not what you get in the grocery store. You make your own pickles. And I'm growing like 17 different kinds of, or seven different kinds of cucumbers so that I can make different types of pickles. And different kind of beans too. I'm going to make pickled beans this year. I've not ever made like dilly beans, but I'm interested. I'm going to try it. And yogurt-based sauces. So if you've ever had a gyro, that's tzatziki sauce. That is yogurt-based. Dill goes with cucumbers. Easy. Cinnamon, which a lot of people don't really. It's a spice, not an herb, but it is a really wonderful mineral and vitamin K. And this is where it's kind of veering off green leafies. It starts providing things like your B vitamins. And there's a host of them. I think there's 14 different B vitamins. Folate is one of them. Thymol, all of the B vitamins. And then manganese, really high in it. Calcium, iron, and magnesium. And then here's the bonus benefit of cinnamon. We talked about the bonus benefit of rosemary, but cinnamon is high in antioxidants. It also helps regulate blood sugar. May help it, allegedly. It does. I put it in a tincture that I make that half of my family has heart disease and the other half has diabetes. And then whatever doesn't kill them out of that, they get cancer. So, well, no, and I will say a lot of it is that L word that I don't like, lifestyle and choices. And my family historically has not been terribly good on their health. They were all overweight, they all smoked, they all did all the things that you're just not supposed to do, more than likely because they just didn't know better. I am the person that ever in my family on both sides ever went to college. So I don't come from a highly educated background. And so people are going to make choices based on the things that they see on TV, magazines, whatever it is, to make those choices. And they just don't know better. Ground into oatmeal, baked, love it in a smoothie. So I make a smoothie periodically, and it's really not so flavorful in it. I love medical mushrooms, not hippie mushrooms, but like reishi and cordyceps and the lion's mane. So I get those sometimes fresh, sometimes dried. I will powder them, and then I will blend them into smoothies. But they do taste like dirt because they are mushrooms. So I usually put like a really high cocoa in the smoothie, but I'll put cinnamon in it because that counteracts that earthy taste. So cinnamon is a really great one, and it also helps your blood sugar too. Here's an unusual one that you don't usually find in the spice aisle. Stinging nettles. They grow wild around here. I actually have an entire bed of them in my backyard that I grow because I love stinging nettles. They're one of the first things that come up in the spring. They're one of the most highly nutritious things that I say follow nature's cycle. Because after a cold winter here in the northern hemisphere, your body is depleted of these types of things. Because our diet, if you follow the rhythm of nature and you eat what is in season, you are eating a lot of heavier, preserved, less fresh ingredients. So your A vitamins, your C vitamins, and so on. Your B vitamins, you are going to be running low on. Even if you've packed in eating those during the harvest season, in the winter, you are not getting them in your natural diet. The first thing that comes up are two things. Sorrel, which we don't talk about here, but sorrel is an amazing perennial leafy vegetable that I grow. The one kind of, the other one tastes like dirt too. The one that's the prettiest, which is that one that's dark with the red veiny stuff in it, is revolting. It tastes horrible. But the fresh green one has lemon, citrus notes to it. So I will chop that down and I will combine it with stinging nettles, and I will cook them, and then I will blend them into a soup.
What's the flavor profile of this?
I'm sorry?
What's the flavor profile?
Green. It's green. I mean, they taste.
Yeah.
It's not an arugula. It's a very neutral. But that's why I add things like sorrel into it, because I want something a little more zingy. I like that taste. But anyway, back into that. So your body is missing a lot of these things, or it's lower in them, because you follow the cycles of nature. You've not been eating fresh greens, those types of things. You've been eating a lot of preserved foods and meats and things like that. The first things that come up in the spring are stinging nettles, sorrel, and all of those things, which then have a bevy of these nutrients in it. So it's important to eat. A word of caution. on stinging nettles because they do sting. When you might do that in your system, and it helps with arthritic conditions and things like that. But the stinging nettles do the same thing. Pesto's your favorite. You can make it with nettles. You can make it with sorrel. All you have to do is blend those herbs with a little bit of oil. When you chop them up, you put them in pasta. Pesto doesn't have to be insipid, gross stuff in the jar. But like I said, always use them after you cook them or dry them, because once you cook them, the stinging profile goes away. So they don't sting anymore once you process them, once you cook them. But fresh out of the garden, ouchies. And like I said, use them up in the spring, use them early in the spring, because by the time the summer hits, they're miserable. They don't taste good. They're really tough in that time when you want them fresh, young ingredients. And they're perennial. So like sorrel, stinging nettles come up every year. So if you're planting, we were talking about earlier about my perennial beds that I'm starting, I've been rehabbing garden. I just finished the annual vegetable patch. It's 5 different beds, that type of thing. And I'm trying to make it a very accessible level of gardening for people, so I'm going to be doing some content on it. But then I want to do another segment of 5 beds, some double, some triple beds that I can perennial things into, like asparagus, rhubarb. There's my rhubarb crumble in April. Or making jam. Like if you're getting to the end of rhubarb season, you can make rhubarb and strawberry jam, or just rhubarb jam itself. But yes, perennial things that you have to plant once, care for a little bit, and you get free food for the next 20 years. Oregano. Do you like, we had pizza last night. Oregano is the pizza spice. It's a pizza spice. So high in vitamin K. This one has vitamin E in its profile, which is great for your joints. It's great for your skin. Great for your eyes. And A, I said, also really important. Iron, manganese, and calcium. Excellent for respiratory, for you and your farm animals. So I don't know if anybody here keeps any sort of animals. No, just me. I give oregano and garlic to my chickens every single day. Every day in the Ohio Valley. I am an allergy sufferer, and most animals here that live in the Ohio Valley have some sort of respiratory issues because of the fact that we live in a valley. And all of the allergens and everything else like that just sit here. So if you've ever been to the coast, or I grew up in northern Michigan, so I grew up on a lake, I never had an allergic reaction to anything until I moved to Ohio. And then everything just sits here. Nothing ever moves out as far as allergens are concerned. So your respiratory health can be, and so I give oregano and garlic to my chickens every single day. I've also then pressed the oregano and then added it to their water along with some apple cider vinegar. It's really great for their digestion. It's great. Apple cider vinegar is great to prevent pests and infestations because chickens can get mites. Gross. But excellent respiratory health. And it's also a good pain reliever too. Oregano can be. A lot of people will use like oregano oil on the bottoms of their feet. And I think a lot of it's because it has the manganese in it, and it helps too.